Hey guys, we're gonna go into a BR draft. I've had a couple people talk about how they want to do some drafts and have some strategy as far as some tips and kind of how I draft and what I look at. So, um, just ran into a really good player who just completely demolished me in my second BR game. So I quit out the next loss or the next one, and we are going to go ahead and draft a new team. So this is we're streaming this, so it won't be real polished, but at least you'll have the ability to kind of see what I do, kind of how I pay attention to the players that are available in each of the rounds, and I'll just kind of walk through some of my strategies. I'll try to get through all of them. Hopefully, we have a good draft. A lot of it is luck, and I know especially on the forums that people are asking, what is your strategy? How do you get certain guys, or who do you target? And unfortunately, it's not a one size fits all uh, recipe because there's so much luck in who is available at each tier, in each round. Who do you play well with? Who don't you play well with? I mean, sometimes even in a diamond round, you've got four players that you really don't like at all, and that just kind of ruins your draft. Hopefully, we'll get a good draft here, and then we can go on with a run after that. If we don't get a good draft, honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and quit out, and then I'll draft again. But at least you'll get a chance to see kind of how I draft and what my strategy is. One of my main things, like I said, is that if I don't get a team that I absolutely love, then I'm not going to waste my time on it. There's nothing worse than going into a BR run with a team that you're just kind of so-so with, and then you end up, maybe you win two or three games, and then you lose one or two, and then you've wasted 5 games on a team that you never really liked in the first place. So my strategy, first of all, is I only start a BR run with a team that I absolutely love. So hopefully we get lucky in this draft, and let's get right into it. Okay, first round. All right, that's not too bad. I really like this George Brett card. I never take a starting pitcher that isn't a common or a bronze if I can help it. So this we lucked out. George Brett's a really good card. He hits really well. He's a pretty decent fielding third baseman, and I really like having a lefty in the lineup. A lot of pitchers in BR are going to be right-handed, so we're definitely going to go with Brett in this round. Okay, let's see here. Not really a great round. I don't know. Let's see. A lot of times I'll look and see how have I done with a pitcher in the past. I've never used minor before. I don't know why. I guess his per nines aren't that good. His velocity and his break is not that good either. So I'm probably not going to go with him. I don't like the fact that Avila has such terrible vision. Um, he's a decent fielding catcher. Actually, I guess I've done okay with him. I may end up going with him. I kind of like having a lefty pitcher. Um, let's see here. I don't think I've used this Escobar. Okay, I have a couple of times. Good contact versus right. Good vision. Good fielding. I may end up going with this Escobar. I don't really know a whole lot about him, but I do like to have players that hit well against same-handed pitchers because a lot of times in BR they're going to try to match up their relievers against your hitters, and they're going to try to go right on right or left on left. So if you got a guy like Escobar who hits righties really well, then that sometimes that can throw off the other opponent. So I think I'm going to go with him in this round. And let's see. Okay, good. So we've got a common pitcher here. This is always, anytime I get a common round, I'm going to go with a starting pitcher. So we're going to go starting pitcher there. Okay. So let's see here. We've got Sean Kelly. He's got a great K per nine, 96 K per nine. Let's see if I used him. Oh, not good at all. So I'm probably not going to go with him. Kemp, I think I've done decent with him. Okay, 19 games, 2 home runs, not fantastic. Span is a pretty good fielder. Got a good arm, and I've done pretty well with him. 667, that's really good. So only 3 at bats though, 2 for 3. triple. He's got good speed. I like that good speed in the outfield. I really don't like having speed under 60 in the outfield, so I think we're going to go with Span in this one. Okay, the next diamond round. So we've got choice of Stanton, Phillips, Gossage, or Wood. Never take a starting pitcher here. It's just not worth it. Let's see. Phillips is pretty good. Stanton, again, the speed in the outfielder can kind of kill you. I think I can get a good bat in one of the silver or maybe the gold round that hopefully has better defense. Phillips is not bad. I think I've done well with him. Yeah, decent, 286. Um, I think I'm going to go with Gossage here. He's got really good per nines. We don't have a reliever yet. I've done well with him in 22 innings. He's got that sinker. That sinker is just a great pitch, especially that sinker slurve combination really kind of reminds me of Jansen. So we're going to go with Gossage in this round. Okay, we've got a bronze. Josh Bell, Nori Aoki. I think we're going to go with Bell. Worst case scenario, we can play him at first base, and he's a switch hitter that's got some power. And on all-star level, the contact is not as important because the PCI is already big. So Josh Bell, and I think I've actually done fairly well with him. No, I haven't. Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe I should go with Holt instead. He's got a lot of positions that he can play as well. Yeah, maybe we'll go with Holt. Okay, we've got 3 lefties in the lineup so far. Maybe Holt is going to be a pinch hitter, so just want to make sure that we have some balance. We don't get too many lefties or too many righties. Okay, let's see. I don't like that poor vision for Zunino. Don't want him. Morrow's pretty good. He throws gas. I've done pretty well with him. I think we're going to go with Morrow in the bullpen. So we've got 2 pretty good relievers right now. Okay, boy, we haven't got any other starters. Just have that one so far. When it starts getting a little bit deep into the draft, like, around pick 10, if I only have one starter, I may start taking a starter in the bronze rounds just to make sure I don't get stuck with having a gold or a silver starter later on. That can really ruin your run if you do that, or ruin your draft. I think right now what I'm going to do, I already have 2 really good relievers in the bullpen. And basically in any BR run, you're not going to use more than 4, hopefully, in a game. And if you have good ones, you may only use 2. But you're never going to use more than 4 in a game that you're going to win, typically, unless it's going to be an extra innings game. So in this early part of the draft, if I've got a round like this where I don't like any of the players, I'm okay with just wasting a pick on a reliever. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna waste a pick on this reliever, and then it's just going to be one of the guys that I never use, and it's not going to be an issue. Okay, perfect. I love getting a left-handed starting pitcher. A lot of times your opponent's going to put a lefty in the first spot of the batting order because most of the starting pitchers are righties, so they're trying to get that left on right matchup. So this is great when you can get a pitcher in the common round and he's a lefty. Okay, so we've got a gold round here. We've got Joe Carter, who's got really good power. He's a pretty good player. I think we're going to take him. Perez, decent first baseman. I can probably get a better first baseman. Gregerson, let's see here. So I've done well with Gregerson. He's got that cutter, which is nice. And got that 2-seam, which is good. But I feel like he's not that much different than Brandon Morrow or Gossage. So right now, the need on my team especially is a right-handed bat. And I think Carter is one of the best. So we're going to go with him. Okay, Chris Young is a great starting pitcher. A lot of guys really have trouble facing Chris Young, even though he's a common. He's got that really weird delivery. The curveball, the sink or the changeup, and the slider, they all start above the zone and end up breaking below the zone. It's got so much movement on it that actually pitched. I've pitched multiple innings with Chris Young before if I'm facing a guy who just can't pick him up. So he's a great guy to have coming out as a starting pitcher. So we're going to take him. Let's see if we can get two more starters. Okay, not yet. Let's see here. I'm going to go with Benintendi. He's a good fielder. He's got good contact versus right. He's got a good vision. I like having a switch hitting catcher, but he just doesn't hit well against lefties at all, and he has poor vision. And we already have two other guys that are decent or that are comparable to Swarzak, so we're going to take Benintendi here. Okay, we're getting next starting pitcher, which is great. We've only got one option there. If we had two options, if there was two starting pitchers here, I would always take the lefty, but we only have the option of one, so we're gonna take Guthrie. He's a righty. Okay, let's see. This is a pretty good round. Um, I we need a lefty in the pen at some point. I love having a switch hitting catcher though, like Grandal, and I think I do really well with him. So I've had 34 at bats. I'm hitting 441 with him, which is good. I know it's all online too, because I don't think I would play with this card on my ranked seasons team. So that's pretty hard to pass up. I like Pomeranz. I think I've done fairly well with him. Decent, not great actually. The WHIP is okay, but the ERA is not that good. So I think for us, this just the construct of this team right now, already having two relievers that I know that I'll lean heavily on. Right now, I'm going to go with Grandal since I love the switch hitting, and he's a catcher to boot, and I've done really well with him. So we're going to go with Grandal there. Let's get another common. Okay, not quite yet. Let's see. Karros is a good guy to bring off the bench if you need a pinch hitter. Since we do need a lefty in the pen at some point, and LeBlanc has that cutter which can be effective against a right-handed hitter, and he's got that two-seamer that can kind of come in and dive in on the lefty's bats, we will use him. He's not a great lefty out of the pen, but we do need to have a lefty option out of the pen at some point, so we'll go ahead and take him right now. So we got 3 bullpen positions still to go, and now they're going to start trying to push our starters, which kind of stinks because we only need one, but now they're trying to give us at least 2 options in every round. So let's see. We have, so far in our lineup, we have 4 lefties, and we have 2 righties and a switch hitter. One of the lefties in Holt may not be in our starting lineup. So right now I'm going to consider that we've got 2 righties, 3 lefties, and a switch hitter. So if I wanted to go with Alonso right here as a lefty, that would be fine. I wouldn't pass up on him just because he's a lefty. I'm 3 for 6 with him. This is all in BR, so that's small sample size, but at least it says that I've done well, at least in that relatively small sample size. Pomeranz, I just am not a huge fan of him, so I think we're going to go with Alonso here. So our starting lineup, at least as far as the draft goes, is complete. We can't pick any more starters until we've finished our starting pitchers and our relievers. Okay, so we've got the option of 2 bullpen and 2 relievers. So at this point, I'm gonna go a little bit against what I normally do, and I'm going to take a lefty starter. If these were both righty starters, I would probably take one of these bullpen guys instead and just waste another bullpen spot. I guess Farquhar is not too bad. I have not done well with him though at all. I can't remember what I've done with however you pronounce the name, Rybczynski. Not good at all. Okay, so that makes it pretty easy. So we're gonna go with Dinks again. He's a lefty, pitcher, starting pitcher, a lot of times your opponent's going to start with a lefty at the top of the lineup, so it's not too bad to have a lefty starting pitcher. And going from a common to a bronze for a starting pitcher, not a really huge deal. So we're going to go with Danks. Our starters are filled out, so now we've got 3 more rounds with relievers. Okay, so this is pretty decent. I really would have loved to have gotten either Nishek or Betances here, or sometimes you'll either get you can either get Chapman or Britton here, but we didn't really luck out there, but that's okay. I think we're gonna go with Osuna. I haven't done really well with him at all, but I do like his pitch selection, and out of the 4 of these guys, maybe Hand, let's see, decent. 0.78. I think some of this might have been against the CPU though, so it's a little misleading. Let's see, Jim Johnson. He's got that sinker that I like. I don't like the K per 9. It just is going to make the PCI look like it's huge, and plus the hits per 9 is not that great either. So I think most people have a harder time facing Osuna. He's got a pretty good hits per 9 and Ks per 9. That PCI is not going to look huge, and he's got that cutter and that slurve. I think the problem that I've had with Osuna is I haven't used that slurve nearly as much as I really need to. It's such a hard pitch to hit. So we're going to go with Osuna here. We've got a good bullpen so far. I'm hoping that we don't get... If we get like a silver Boxberger or silver Chapman, then that would be fine. But I'd kind of like to save that silver for our starting lineup. Okay, so we've got 2 options here. I'm really going to look at these lefties because we only have 1 lefty in the pen right now. I want to have at least 2. I think I've done well with this Boone Logan. Decent, 0.82 whip. Crockett, his per 9s are not good, and I haven't used him very much. He's got a 4-seam slider and a changeup. So Logan has better break on his pitches. He's got better velocity, and his K per 9 is pretty good. The PCI is not going to look like it's huge, so we're going to go with Logan there. Okay, Diaz is probably going to be my pick here. I really like Diaz. He throws heat, throws like 98. He's got a good break on the slider. I've done really well with him. 0.45 whip and 0.94 in 28 innings. So yeah, Diaz is going to be my guy here. All right, so we've got 5 spots left. 2 commons, 2 bronze, 1 silver. Our lineup is pretty good. All we really need is a second baseman. So let's see here. This is not a great round for second baseman. Drury might not be too bad. Utley, Will Clark, let's see. I've done well with him, actually. He might be a really good guy to come in off the bench. Let's see what I've done with Drury. 333, not bad. I think I'm going to go with Clark, though. I always like having a lefty off the bench, and I've done really well with him. Okay, got a common round. No one really sticks out to me as being much better than the rest. I think I'll probably, when I get around like this, especially a common round, I'm really not looking to fill a specific position. I'm either looking to fill for a pinch hitter or maybe even a pinch runner, depending on what the construct of my team is. None of these guys have great speed. This guy, Dwight Smith, has a 73 speed, 40 steals, so he's not going to steal any bases. But if I end up getting Alonso on base or maybe Escobar on base at some point and I need to have a pinch runner, he would be a good guy to put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Smith as a potential pinch runner. Okay, so we've got a bronze here. Blanco has decent vision. Luis Valbuena might be a good pinch hitter off of the bench. No, these are both lefties. In fact, everyone's a lefty here. Could also go with Hazel Baker, who's got also pretty good speed, 83 and 72. He could actually get you a stolen base, maybe, if you needed to bring him in as a pinch hitter or a pinch runner. So let's see here. think I'm going to go with Valbuena, though. His power is a little bit better, his vision is a little bit better, and contact, so he will actually be somebody that I'd bring in off the bench as a pinch hitter if needed. Got three lefty pinch hitters now, so at this point, I'm really going to need to try to get at least one righty on the bench. Okay, what position do we need to fill? We need to fill Holt's position. Trying to think. I remember right. I think Alonso might be able to play second base, but I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up really quick. So, one of the things that if you're not aware of, a really great resource is daddyleagues.com. You can go on there and you can actually type in the name of the player that you're looking for and in the search, and you can find out a lot about them. You can find out all of their contacts and their power ratings, what positions they play, what secondary positions they play. So right now I'm looking up Yonder Alonso on daddyleagues.com. He only plays first base. So I'm locked in there. Grandal is going to be my catcher. Brett is only at third base, I believe. Oh, let me look up Escobar. I think since he is one of the, what is that, breakout player cards, I think he probably only has shortstop. Yep, he's only shortstop. So kind of limited right now as to whether I can pick. In fact, there's no one here that even fills that second base position for me. So what I'm gonna have to do here is figure out, is there any way that I want to play any of these guys at second base and risk it out of position, or am I just basically drafting for a pinch hitter? So I really like this Buddy Bell card. I've done really well with him. I'd like to put him in my starting lineup, but I don't know if I can, especially over Brett. I could put him at first base over Alonso if I wanted. This Miggy card, it looks so good. And I actually have done well with him. Man, it just feels like his swing is just so slow. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and go with Bell. If I have to bring him in off the bench, I feel a lot better bringing him off, especially if there's a guy on second base as a pinch hitter. I feel a lot more confident hitting with Bell in an RBI situation than I do with Miguel. So we're going to go with Bell there. Hopefully, we got a common left, so it's just going to be nothing great. So we are probably stuck with Holt at second base, which is not terrible, but could have been better. We're going to go with another righty off the bench if we can. No one's really great here. So, you know what? Robinson is pretty good. We're going to go with him as a pinch hitter, and this draft is done, and we'll set up the lineup. Okay, so we've got our team. I usually like to put the starters or put the relievers kind of in order of how I would want to use them in the game. Bullpen is actually really good. Our lineup is decent. It's not great. We have probably too many lefties, so what we're going to end up having to do is put the pitcher in the 8th spot in order to try to break up that left right matchup. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and set up this lineup and start this BR run and see how it goes. But that is kind of how I draft. That's some of my strategy in picking players. I look at each one of their cards if I'm looking at drafting them to just kind of see how I've done with them. When you're drafting, pick players that you play well with. I think that's a key. I don't play well with guys that have slower swings. So I don't particularly like Ripken that much. I don't like Miguel that much or Cabrera that much, just because their swings seem so slow to me. So if I have the option of picking a comparable player with a faster swing like Seager or Harper or something like that, I'll probably go with them even if they're rated lower than a guy like Miggy or Ripken who might be a 99 player. Um, Also, when you're drafting your bullpen, go with players that you pitch really well with. I love 89 Nishek. I pitch extremely well with him. Anytime I get him in BR run, I feel like I can go 12 and 0. I like this Gossage card a lot. He's not that hard to pitch with because he throws so hard. Um, 87 Storin is another guy, Drew Storin, that I really like because he's got such a filthy sinker that breaks in. So, anyways, when you're pitching or when you're drafting, go with guys that you really pitch well with. It will really help you in your BR run. So, all right, guys, we're gonna set this lineup, and I'll hopefully post some videos from this run. Thanks for watching, guys.